Hello, everyone. I am going to now train measurements with using RoofSnap on a more complex roof. A complex roof would consider multiple valleys, some dead valleys. It has more gables, different facets on the roof, walls that you're gonna have to draw out. Again, to start this, I'm gonna go here through real quick, create your own project. I'm gonna name this one John Test 2. And this is the address 609 Maple Point Drive. And this one is in Bessemer, Florida, 33584. Go ahead and create. All right, pulls up again. In order to draw this roof out, you got to go through these three dots. I'm doing this on my computer, so it may look a little different on your iPad, but doing the measurements is similar as if it is on your iPad as it is on the computer. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and edit sketch. I'm going to pull up 609 Maple, as you can see here. And if you want to confirm, obviously you should have already went to this house, kind of been on the roof, you took your photos, you kind of understand the schematics, the layout a little bit, the overhangs that you won't really see clearly in the aerial view, but I could see them here as the photos that were taken at this property. So we're going to go back to RoofSnap, and I'm going to go ahead and use this image, and it's going to allow me to adjust, right? So I'm going to go pick the free one, the standard one. There's the roof. I'm going to click it. All right. So again, you want to turn this to have it kind of level with the screen. I always like to put the front of the house facing the top, just like that. Save image. Now I can zoom in. All right, I'm going to start out with the outline, this roof. I'm going to start here with drawing. And if you look at the pictures when you're doing it, you can see these little cornices. What's called a cornice is a little overhang. This is a cornice, this is a cornice, this is a cornice. So this is actually, you got drip edge here. You're going to have shingles. If you're doing metal, this will have to be wall flashing. Some trim pieces are going to go installed here for the rake. Drip edge is going to be here. You actually have the materials are going to be used, and there's wall flashing. This allows me to kind of look at these pictures. I kind of know how to design it. You got some cornices up here too as well. You see that? Shingles go on this area too. Small little area, drip edge. Back to the roof. So here at the corner of the house, I'm going to start here, work my way around. Remember, there's those cornices. More cornices go about 2 feet out roughly. Go back in. You can zoom in even more if you want to. Draw it in. I kind of box it in a little bit. However you want. Like this will still give you the measurements. It's not that off. Like if I go right here, it's 2.3, so it knows it's the wall. If I go here, the wall as well. Right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to now draw the rake. And usually rakes are about the same size as the other opposite end. And there's a cornice here too, so it's actually this way. Also hit undo, and I can undo it a little bit. Get that little 2 feet overhang, that cornice. Can't get it, you can always zoom in. You also just, you don't want to be perfect. Yeah, it's not catching. You have to zoom in even more. This roof here, look at this picture here, guys. You go up on the top of the roof and find you a picture. See how this roof is going down here? So there's that roof right here. So see how this roof is coming? The cornice is right here. And then it also comes back here. There's a wall, goes up and then up again. So that's what I'm drawing here. So from here, it goes underneath this gable roof. It's going to go up a little bit, so about 2 or 3 feet. And then it's going to come up again. So I'm drawing this out. Like this is underneath that wall. So I'm going to do is kind of drawing this out. I know this is the wall here. All right, I know I'm going to finish this outline real quick and do this. Going to go back to 2 feet. Same thing with this one. This is also going to have a little wall. It's going to come up right here, and then there's going to be a wall goes up. I'm going to make it a little longer. That's it, like that. Now it looks a little funky, guys, but what I'm doing here now is drawing out this gable. What I'm drawing here, so you kind of understand, I'm drawing this. And as you can see, oops, see that. What I didn't do is I didn't draw the little cornices that come out here. There's also a cornice here. So now what I have here is there's a little, this is going to go into a dead valley. So we got this, and this is going to go into a dead valley right here. And where that valley is connecting is, it's going to turn into a low slope. Here's this one. I'm going to zoom out the rest of this. This has a little tiny ridge, goes down, tracing out the lines. I know it looks a little funky right now, but once I get everything designed, you'll understand. What I could do a little bit better is with this dead valley, I could have made it more like this one, but it'll still get the measurements. And if I need to, I could come here and delete edge. I could delete these edges, just kind of make it a little bit better. So I see my wall here, right? See that? Come back here, draw, delete it. Also a valley here too. There's a hip and then there's a valley. So this is actually how the roof kind of designed to look. You're done. And what I'm going to do now is kind of label everything. So I'm going to start with my eaves. This is an eave. And see, I don't like that here. See how this line goes all the way down? I know I kind of messed up because I should have had a break right here. So I could go here. I could delete edge, delete this edge. I can now draw it again, draw it here. I could draw it here, draw another line here, and then go all the way down. So that way, the reason why I did that is because now when I label this, oops, back, edges, when I label this right here, yeah, I could label that as an eve. And the reason why I didn't touch this one, because this is actually a rake. The roof is actually going here, and then it goes down again into a rake. If I can pull up a picture, I will show you what I'm talking about. Ah, there it is. See how that eve is going across, and then here's it hits the hip, and that it changes it, and it goes down into a rake, just this here, into the valley, and then an eve right here. So that's what I just did here. I'm going to label it as a rake. That's what that is. And then this is also an eve here. That's also an eve, also an eve. And this is a wall, but I think it's going to make everything colored. Yeah, see, that's not going to be right. So I go here, delete the edge here. See, there it is. So this is the wall here. That is correct. That's how I want it. And then now I could go ahead and draw my line from here all the way down. Even though you don't see the blue, but I know it's labeled, I can go now and draw this rake. Go ahead and select rake. Rake. I know this is going to be a wall here. So here's the wall. Oops, sorry. This color here. This is the rake. I already got that labeled. This is an eve. This is an eve. This is an eve. This is an eve. Rake. Go ahead and draw my rakes. All my rakes. Yep. Now I can finish off the eaves around the building. Eave, eave, eave. Now I have hip. So we know this is the hip. This is going up, going up, this is going up, this is going up. We also know this hip is going up. This is the hip going up. Now these are not hips, these are valleys. This is a valley. This is a ridge, this is a valley. So now we got ridges. Ridge, the ridge, the ridge, this is a ridge, and this is a ridge. Oh, and if you see here, I forgot an eve. That is an eve. Boom. Now, a step is basically, or a wall. I'd rather just label it a wall. So right here, we know this is a wall because if you look at the picture, there's a wall. There's a wall. The wall, roof to wall. So I'm going to label what I know is a wall, which is this part here, this part here. Now I know there's a wall here. There's a wall here. This is the cornice, so I know this is a wall. See how I didn't touch the right one? But sometimes it does that when you overlap the lines, you can't get it. So what I can make it easier is I could do delete edge, delete this one, and up there. And then instead of labeling it, I could also do this here. I could do wall, color that one, and then I could go ahead and draw out, which I know that's a rake. I come here and just draw a rake all the way down. That's my wall. I'm going to draw it out. See if you didn't catch it. That one is overlapping. I go ahead and delete this edge like I did before. Sometimes I like to go out a little past it. That way I can kind of know what it is. And then there's the rake. Here is an eve. Here is, oops, let me go back out to my edges. Eve, 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 eve. This is an eve. This is an E. Now this here is where you want to make sure when you do your valley. So we know this is a valley, as you've seen in the picture right here. This is a valley. This is a valley. Technically, I'm looking at this picture here too. I know there's not even a dead valley like there is on the other side. The other side has that dead valley right here. The valley comes here and then it slopes off this way. I drew a little diamond shape. Now by looking at the pictures, I know I could correct this. There's actually not a dead valley here like it is over here. There's this little pitch change right here. See that little diamond shape, low slope. We're gonna have to put some modified bitumen based in cap in this area because it's considered a low slope. Shingles shouldn't sit here because water can get trapped and go underneath the shingles, creating a leak. So this is what we call a dead valley. On the other side of that roof, which we assume there was a dead valley, but it doesn't have one. See how this valley just hits right into that wall. So I can actually correct this now by looking at it. Come here and delete edge, delete this one, delete this one, delete this one. There's that wall. That valley is actually going from around here. I could probably come up more with this wall because I know it's coming up a little closer, which will help a little bit, but it's not going to make a huge difference. But I'm going to still go ahead and draw this out, draw the wall out right here, a little bit more like, see right there. That should be fine. And then this wall is going to come up to here and right there. So this one here, I'm gonna change the colors, guys. So don't worry about that. I'm gonna go ahead and change this to a valley. That wall stays the same. That wall stays the same. This is the valley. The valley. This is the valley, and then this is where it changes. Even though this is like a valley too as well, and we saw it, this is actually a pitch change. This is where that low slope area is. Now I'm gonna fix this over here. This is a wall, and there it is. Oh, we got one right here. This is the valley. I'm gonna go ahead and correct that. There it is. So yes, I know it seems complicated, it might seem a little tricky. You will get used to it. It's all about connecting the dots. It's about an understanding, looking at this roof in a 3D eagle eye, just kind of imagining the roof. And if you have pictures, it definitely helps. You know, like by looking at these pictures, I know I kind of design it. Now, will the measurements be exact to the T? No, they will not. But I know that this roof, kind of shape of it, to where it allows me to kind of draw the design. And when we have it more exact like this, you can give a better exact estimate to the customer because you're doing it based on margin, not just the per square amount. Not every roof's the same. Also, when you're pricing out a metal roof, this is how it should be done to be more exact. Instead of pricing out 1,100 a square, 1,200 a square, you can actually be to the T in our margins because it's calculating the steps, the wall, flashing, all these little drip edges, cornices. That's where metal is going to have to be ordered. And those trump pieces can also add cost to the job, whereas you don't want to miss that. Because when we do shingle roofs, and if there is a shingle roof that is being flashed, you know, the flashing has to be replaced, we usually typically don't know until we replace the roof, the shingle roof, and then the flashing is bad, then we bill the customer afterwards. We do a change order, we call the customer, said, hey, your flashing is bad, we're going to have to replace it. But when doing a metal roof, we are always adding flashing. Wall flashing. Every time there's a metal roof, we have to wall flash it. We always have to put the counter flashing and the wall flashing where it's needed. Always. So since this roof is done, I'm going to go here to my facets. Going to pull up. And this is what happens sometimes too. Sometimes you will get a facet here. That means this isn't blocked off. Something is not blocking this area off to consider this a slope. So we're missing something here. And same thing with this one. So you will see that if it's like this, that means that this is showing not a wall. Something isn't blocking it. So that tells me it's more than likely probably this area here. I did have this correct, did have this. So I'm going to go back to my edges and draw because it just didn't connect it. So this wall here should end right here, right? Even though the valley is going to this area where this transition is, it's not really, you know, this is not a line, not an edge, not a wall, something in the wall. So I had to go from this wall here because it does kind of end underneath this roof. There's a wall right here. I'm just going to get a picture so you understand. So, yeah, imagine this part here, what I just drew out, where that valley was on the other side. So we're looking at this part right here, and you see how I closed that off there? I didn't close it off here because, again, even though the roof design, there is underneath here, there is a wall area. So it's just closing this roof off. This wall is coming up to here, and it's, there's a wall here, and then there's a roof to wall, even though it's underneath the soffit, but there is an end wall right here too as well. So that's why it just needs to connect the dots to close off that facet, which I just did. And then there you have it. And then a pitch gauge should be shown. So we should have a pitch gauge. Here is the pitch gauge. Tells me this roof is a 5, a little more than 4, 512 pitch. So I'm going to go to my pitch at 5 and just start clicking all the facets that are 5. We know all these are 5. I need to fix this one before I finish. It's easy. It's just the wall. Go here now. Go back to my draw. Just need to connect this one here, kind of like how these ones are finished there. So what I can do is I could just delete this edge, and I actually can just do, if I want to do it simple, I could just do, because it's really just a wall here. It's just correcting the measurements. I can go here. Oops. Not do that. That is an eave. I can go ahead and draw a wall here to here. There you have it. Close it off. It wasn't registering it. It was just, I drew it here, but it wasn't registering this wall. So I could have drew this wall out from here to here and then went down again to make it straight. It's going to create the same measurements. If this is, 2 feet, then, doing it this way like this might be 2 feet 4 inches. But I am able to now measure this roof properly. I have it almost exact for estimating. Make sure all the zeros are turned into the pitch, which they are here. And there you have it. That is the roof. And then when you understand why we need those wall measurements, especially estimating for metal roofs. If you're estimating for metal roofs, it's very important to have that because those are trim pieces. Those are costs of that job if you're trying to base measure on the margins. It's giving you a better, more exact. But with this, it allows you to kind of be more exact. And now that we know, and here's a mistake that I made that I wanted to show you. So remember we said that dead valley there is a pitch change. So this should actually be probably like a 212, and I know just from my experience, but if I look at this pitch, this is a 5, clear 6.5, and then it just goes straight right here. So about a 212, and we need to put base and cap in that area. It's a requirement under the Florida Building Code. So go to done. It's going to give you, and that's adjusted waste. I would say this one probably go 12% waste factor that I would calculate this. Doing metal, definitely a 15% waste. So it's all said and done. You go to documents, go to add new, modern sketch. It's going to bring you to the sketch report. There's the house that we just drew. There's my sketch drawing. Here's the measurements. This is what it's suggesting at 14.21. And remember, we always round up, guys. It says 14. If it says 28.99, it's not 28, it's 29 squares. But I always, like I said, I always suggest doing it about a 12% waste factor on the roof this side. Here's the eaves. As you can see with the eaves that we have on here, I'm going to go back to my measurement so you kind of understand. So here's the eaves. The eaves are in the red. It's calculating all that. It's calculating the rakes, calculating the ridges. The ridges are the small, the hip piece, the very peak of the roof. That's the ridge. It's got the hips, the part that goes up. It's got the valleys. All right. And then putting a step, but it also calculates the wall. So now when we send this roof report in to get it estimated from the supplier that has the metal, Tri-County, they're going to include wall flashing in that bid, right? And we know in this area that's low slope, 212, if we're going to go ahead and order shingles for this job, we know that we're going to have to bring out a small piece of base and cap sheet to match the shingles. That way we can install the proper materials under the Florida Building Code, and it prevents any leaks in those areas. So this one's a little bit more complicated. Took me a little bit more longer time, but once you get used to it, it's not that difficult, and you're ready to send this off to the Tri-County Metals, or you're able to price it pretty much to the T. You can't be any far off if you did it this way. I grew up in an area where we had to measure the roofs. So before I sketched it out, as I just did, I would actually have a drawing hand measured with a measuring tape, all the eaves, all the walls, all the valleys, all the hips, and I would come back and I would draw it to the exact measurement. And that's how we priced out our roofs when I got into this industry. So We're not asking you guys to go to that extent unless there's some tree coverage, but we guys do want you to be able to price out jobs and be more sufficient, more not just efficient, but more precise on your bidding. This is how you can win jobs. This is where your margins. You can work out numbers. You can also use this to negotiate discounts because you know where your numbers are at. If you know where your numbers are, you will always succeed and you always provide value to the customer. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys got a lot out of this one. Thank you for watching. And I suggest you continue to watch these videos when you have any questions. Instead of calling and asking, this is to allow you to kind of do it on your own, so that you experience it on your own. We got a whole team that's willing to help you guys, but we just ask you that you take the time out of your schedule to be able to study and learn the proper way on how to estimate. Thank you.